In the Know for Monday, April 4, the 94th day of 2022. There are 271 days left in the year. Good morning, MB. Guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 103.9 The Moose. Live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. It's spring break week, and we're down to 2 teams remaining in college basketball. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rome, Rio, Tokyo, and Millwood. He's Sam Gormley. And the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm happy that Duke's no longer in the NCAA tournament.
I didn't watch a second of it.
Not a second?
No. I think I might have seen a highlight that came through on Twitter, but I didn't watch any of it, no.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I was watching something else, and it was one of those things that I was like, do I really want to stop because I was enjoying what I was watching, and I didn't really want to listen to the Coach K Sob Fest, and I set like a reminder. North Carolina was winning with about 3 minutes left. And I was like, do I want to watch this? And I was like, I don't want to be the one that turns it on, and then Duke comes back and wins, and I blame myself.
Okay, well, thank you for not doing that.
So I said, I'm going to take one for the team and continue not watching.
You can watch it as many times on an archive basis as you want.
Correct.
So that was a smart play. So now it turned out the way, and we'll circle back to it in a few minutes. But the other big event, I would imagine the other big event of the week for you, is the arrival of Major League Baseball season officially.
Yeah, but I've never been as what's the word I'm looking for?
You've never been less excited?
Less excited for opening day in a long time.
Okay. Well, and it's weird, because the opening day has been delayed by a better part of a week, so it almost seems anticlimactic because you get that one brief overlap where the college basketball season and the opening day for Major League Baseball kicks off, but not going to get that this year. But they'll almost align. They'll be adjacent to one another. Weather-wise, for this spring break week, we've got a lot of spring sports teams. Some are traveling. Some of are, having they're playing different times of the day. They're picking things up a little bit, but they're going to have to dodge some showers. Most days this week have at least a slight chance of precipitation. Rain chance just about daily this week. We'll see showers off and on today. More plentiful in the evening hours for our regions. We'll see some heavier rain expected tomorrow as a low pressure will move across the Commonwealth. Then cold returns. For late in the week, we'll see 40s and even in the 30s for our lows.
Next week's looking like spring break, though, as far as weather-wise.
Next week is Passion Week, too, and so temperatures look like they will warm up. I can't see beyond Wednesday of next week, but at least the beginning of the next half of next week looks warmer, and maybe that might be a good
I'm done with the cold.
Good expectation for what we can hope for on Easter weekend. But today we'll see a 4 in 10 chance of showers, a high of 58, scattered showers, and a 3 in 10 chance of showers tonight, a low of 49. Tomorrow will be a high of 60 and a 7 in 10 rain chance for your Tuesday, and then we'll reevaluate tomorrow. Rain chances higher tomorrow and again on Wednesday. I just saw a piece last night. The situation in Ukraine continues, and I saw a piece on 60 Minutes last night that focused in. They did an interview with the World Health Organization, and the WHO has identified, I think it was either 70 or 71 Russian missile strikes on the healthcare system in Ukraine. Maternity hospital, children's hospitals, just varying clinics. And Scott Pelley was pointing out that if you go back to the Geneva Convention of 1863, I think is when the Geneva Convention was. I think it was the year before. I think it was 63, not 64. But if you go back to that convention, The number one war crime agreed to in the Geneva Convention was that attacks would not be made on healthcare facilities. Whether it was, it was in the old days where it was tents that were set up adjacent to battlefields where they would, drag their wounded off and they would treat them and that was at the top of the list. That was war crime number one, were attacks on healthcare. And so you cannot deny, was I right? 1863. I thought you were.
I
looking,
saw
so that's why.
something 1864.
Well, 1864, and then there was a secondary one in the 40s. They kind of followed that up and modernized it back during
there was
World
also
War
one in
One
the 20s
and
as
World
well.
War II. Yeah, so periodically they will have these, and then they have tribunals without. But my point is just going back to the origins of when you hear Geneva Convention. Top of the list is the top of the list from war crimes is and Russia is violating that, and so now you've got at least a greater appetite, I think, for people around the globe wanting to investigate and prosecute that because it is certainly a problem. But that situation continues. I did read a headline says Kentucky mom travels to Ukraine after war halts adoption. This is a mom who had adopted 6 adopted children from Ukraine. She's been in the country for the last month trying to bring home a 7th. Her name is Colleen Thompson. She and her husband David were in the process of adopting a teenager when Russia attacked Ukraine, and so that halted the adoption, and she felt compelled to travel there to try and get Maure, M-A-U-R-E, the teen, out, even though the State Department had warned Americans about going into the region. So it's a remarkable story of someone risking their own safety to go in and try and rescue someone, and very benevolent on their part.
7 adoptions, too. That's a lot.
Yeah, 6 Ukrainian children, and this would be a 7th. I don't know if there's a familial connection. I don't know if it's a sibling group or some type of familial group or not. Maybe. It could be, could not be. I don't have that detail. I hope that none of you had flights scheduled over the weekend domestically, because the number that I've got here, I saw quadruple on CBS this morning. It said this may have been a mid-weekend reports that airlines have canceled more than 3,500 U.S. flights this weekend and delayed thousands more. I think that was the number I saw. There were about 12,000 delayed flights. And a website that tracks flights, it's called FlightAware, noted major disruptions at several Florida airports, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and Orlando, and then up the eastern seaboard, Baltimore, New York, etc. And so why is this? It's because the airline industry having the same problems that all other people are in trying to retain labor, and they're still functioning in a pandemic world, but the demand in a pre- or post-pandemic world has surged ahead, where there have been these periods where they would surge for a couple of days, but now we're entering this spring break season where some people were on spring break last week, some people are on this week, but the common weekend, there were people trying to get home over this last weekend, and there were people trying to get away over this last weekend, and it was a perfect storm, especially with storms and some bad weather in the southeast, and so a lot of cancellations yesterday. Southwest cited what was called a technology issue, along with weather and airspace congestion. So, you can be reasonably confident when you set out to travel somewhere. You can be reasonably confident you're going to get there when they say you're going to get there, but I wouldn't bet the farm on it.
Jump in the good old car and you can control it.
Depending upon where you're going, you're absolutely
unless you're driving
right
through Nashville. In that case, good luck.
That can definitely be a challenge, especially on spring break and fall break.
Oh, yeah.
A man arrested on a DUI charge has been nabbed with nearly a dozen grams of methamphetamine upon entering the Grayson County Detention Center. This happened late last week. The LPD observed a vehicle driving erratically on West White Oak, and they conducted a traffic stop and found 29-year-old Jacob T. Small of Owensboro was likely under the influence of a substance. He was given a field sobriety test, arrested. During a search of his vehicle, they located some marijuana and drug paraphernalia. But then, when he was being booked into the detention center, authorities discovered he had meticulously hidden, apparently, approximately 11 grams of methamphetamine on his person. They don't want you to do that, Sam. I don't know if you're...
Yeah.
Not everyone might know you're not allowed to bring your own drugs.
Just like, why are
into
you
the detention center.
I
don't ask any more questions.
No,
Sam.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to think any more
Thank
about
goodness
it.
for the body scanners.
Moving on. 8 people, including a deputy jailer, have been indicted for conspiring to smuggle drugs into the Butler County Jail. Again, apparently they don't like people doing that. According to media reports, police are being tight-lipped regarding details of this ongoing investigation, but reports are that the conspiracy was furthered by chirping, which allows inmates to communicate with the outside world via texting. I'm not familiar with this chirping. All 8 suspects were indicted by a Butler County grand jury for engaging in organized crime, trafficking, and in a controlled substance and promoting contraband. Apparently, this happened between the dates of February 1 and February 12. This is the period where the indictments are coming from. I would highly doubt that they suddenly started this on February 1st, and then they said on February 12th, we're not going to do this anymore. But that's the parameters of the investigation. And the indictments you can see and read more at K105.com if it's information that is pertinent to you. I did see this headline from over the weekend. It doesn't really impact me and mine, but I do think it impacts our law enforcement community. Davis County Sheriff Barry Smith said he is open to the idea of body cameras for his deputies, but the department can't afford it. He said there are grants to help pay for cameras, but not the ongoing maintenance and support. So this is problematic for law enforcement agencies. In this day and time, I think most of the citizenry thinks that law enforcement officers either do or should have body cams.
They should.
And many of them do.
I think a lot of law enforcement would agree.
I think they do agree, and I don't think that it's the law enforcement officers that necessarily have the problem with the body cams. But as people who do have to deal, being us, who have to deal with the weight of video and the ability to move video around and the quality of video and the pitfalls associated with such, it's one thing to get the cameras. It's one thing to establish the protocols of officers wearing cameras, but there's an entire other aspect of maintenance and processing of data. I mean, if you've got an 8-hour shift for a law enforcement officer and they are recording, let's just say 8 hours of their shift pretty much at all times, that content has to go somewhere. Well, it eventually gets requested in trials, insurance. So now somebody
Media organizations.
Now, so somebody has to be responsible for finding the data, editing it down, dispatching the data, etc. And it's heavy. I mean, video is heavy. And you would also expect these cameras, we've got 4K cameras out there. We should be shooting in 4K. 4K is super heavy, so you have to find this balance between quality versus, the ability to upload it, download it. So it establishes this. This is where the financial burden is in the administration of the documentation, not in the actual the recording's easy, right? And we know that, Sam. We can record all kinds of stuff on cameras. But then when it comes time to do something with it is when the real work starts.
I'd like to know the actual finances. Like, you can say what you want. Like, say that it costs money. Let's see some numbers and say, this is how much it costs for one camera and everything to see. Because in a lot of ways, I still think that it is something that the sheriff's office should do and should put the money toward.
I'm going to bet as well. Well, and I don't think people would argue with you on that, but where the majority of funding of sheriff's offices come from is through the administration of property taxes. Not that some counties don't contribute in other ways. I would imagine the Davis County Sheriff is in a very interesting position, maybe almost similar to the Warren County Sheriff, where you have this big, huge city that occupies most of the resources and has a huge geographical footprint in your community. But then there's just not a whole lot of. So you got all these resources dedicated to Owensboro proper or to Bowling Green proper, and then you've got a small county agency that's got to deal with the rest, and they're stuck in this not big enough and not small enough all at the same time. So it's but interesting to hear the perspective of someone else when it doesn't impact me or my community. I think I can be a little bit more.
I'd be curious on talking to our good sheriff.
I can
about
be
that.
a little more objective, I guess, because I have no passionate feeling for it one way or another. It's been a good weekend for the Carolinas. If you're a South Carolinian, or a South Carolinian fan, you are super excited that Dawn Staley helped hoist the women's trophy. And they defeated UConn, and
Correct.
then they defeated U of L on
UConn,
Friday.
Gino Auriemma. That's the first
He had
time
never lost.
It's 11-0 going in. That's unbelievable.
Never lost in the title game. So
Whoa.
it's, wow. Oh,
got
sorry, that was over here.
Oh, I was going to say, sir, our headphones got louder. Okay.
My papers adjusted
I was going
the
to say,
headphone.
you got major surround sound there for a
and the
second.
headphone knob. Sorry. So that was congratulations to the South Carolina, University of South Carolina for their win. And I'll circle back to that in a minute. And then North Carolina did us a favor. North Carolina did everyone who's not a Duke fan a favor. I think everyone was pretty much cheering against Duke, unless you were
Not necessarily for North Carolina, more so against Duke.
It definitely was against Duke, but I will tell you,
I have nothing against North Carolina.
I gotta tell you, I'm just gonna keep it real this morning. I like Hubert Davis. I like him.
I always liked him when he was on ESPN. That's how I knew him as.
I like his humility.
Yeah, charisma.
He is charismatic. He is passionate. He is a Christian. He talks about his faith. He was deflecting all of the accolades away from him and onto Carolina's team. And I'm like, there's a guy that knows how to do it. And there's a guy following a legend. Right? You follow Roy Williams at North Carolina, and
because it's interesting because this is the Roy Williams Bowl tonight. Because
Yes,
both coaches coaching followed Roy Williams.
Absolutely. So, anyway, just congratulations to the Carolina Tar Heels fans. It is weird that UK women defeated the national champion and UK men defeated the national champion. Can I tell you, by the time I got to last night, I was really tired on Twitter. Every person I follow had to say something about UK beating Kansas and North Carolina and by the total. We get it. Okay, we understand you all have to get your Twitter in the archive. Like, you got to get your tweet down so that when it comes back later. Yeah, I mean, it's a large number, but it was just by the time I heard, yes, I learned that the first tweet I saw. I didn't need 49 other people to also tweet the same thing. And then I'm excited about the Masters this week. Par 3 is tomorrow, I guess. And then last day of practice will be Wednesday. And then to Tiger or not to Tiger. It is a game time decision, but he is still on the starting list for Thursday. Does he play, Sam?
I think so. I think he'll come out there and he'll play. Why show up if you're not going to play?
Listen,
Why show up if you're not going to play?
I agreed. Well, I mean, he wants to be there. He wants to be around the game.
It's not like he's there to, for, just making an appearance. He's doing smiles, doing some media. It seems like he's Tiger, and he's there. He's there to practice. He's there to win. And
we need to be careful about setting our expectations too high. I have a feeling he'll play but won't make the cut, and that'll be okay. 2 days worth of Tiger from where he was to where he would be at that point.
You never know with Tiger, though.
That's true. You just never know. But I'm going to keep my expectations dialed a little bit low. But hopefully we'll see him on the starting list come Thursday. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way here on In the Know.
If you're a woman over 40, have you had your annual mammogram? Whether you're a mother, wife, Sister, mentor, or friend, you're important to so many in your life. At Owensboro Health, we want to help you live a healthy life with the ones you love. Having an annual screening mammogram is one way to take good care of yourself, because you're worth it. Schedule your screening mammogram online at owensborohealth.org/mammogram.
It's here. NCTC, powered by Warren RECC, now offers high-speed internet to parts of Grayson County with the fastest speeds available anywhere. Working from home, virtual education, or just streaming your favorite movies is now a reality. To see if high-speed internet is now available in your area or if it will be soon, visit fiberforgrayson.com. Call 270-971-2021 to schedule your installation today.
All Kentucky driver licensing is moving from circuit clerk offices in every county
to regional offices.
And the new regional offices offer more licensing choices than ever before.
Get a driver's license valid for 4 years.
or 8 years.
Get a real ID
or a standard license.
Renew online
or in person.
You can even visit any regional office you'd like.
It's next level licensing. Learn more at drive.ky.gov.
Here's a simple truth about higher education.
If pursuing your purpose, doing what you really care about matters.
If having a rewarding career matters.
If a better financial future for you and your family matters.
Then higher education matters. From 6-week certificates to 2 or 4 year degrees. There's an option for you. A brighter future is within your reach. Find out how at kyhigheredmatters.org. Brought to you by this station and the Kentucky Broadcasters Association.
Your choice of lifestyle directly affects your health. And while there are many complex factors surrounding your lifestyle, sometimes the simple truth is that you just need to feel better. Well, rest assured, your feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. We take our time to get to know you and your lifestyle so we can provide sound advice on ways to improve your overall health. So whether your goal is to maintain a healthy lifestyle or overcome that untimely sickness, remember, your feel better starts here at Midway Pharmacy.
GoPro's out with its latest camera. The new GoPro Hero 10 Black Creator Edition has directional audio, 5.3K video, and the powered Volta Grip, which offers 4 hours 4K recording. The camera has some fun software tricks as well, including its award-winning hypersmooth digital video stabilization and the option to shoot at 1/8 speed slow-mo video. All that for the low price of $785. Twitter is out with a new feature that would allow 2 accounts to co-author a single tweet. There are plenty of reasons why 2 accounts might want to have their names attached to a single post, ranging from brand partnerships, influencer campaigns, or even just sharing credit for a funny post. Looking to find some Zen and eye-open meditation while driving? Some apps can help with that. The Calm app has a commute playlist for drivers and passengers, while Insight Timer has a 15-minute session for drivers that starts with breathing exercises while your hands are on the steering wheel. Headspace doesn't recommend doing a full session from the app, but offers a car-based variation that starts before you shift into drive. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC.
Tennessee whiskey.
Today is 404 Day. You ever seen that in your web browser?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, 404 Day. You saw it a little. You saw it a little bit on Friday, didn't you? See it?
Yeah, it was a little stressful.
Celebrating the 404 error or the file not found error because today is 4.04. It's 404 Day. It is also Hug a News Person Day today. So I'll just leave that up to you. Just choose whatever news person.
Make sure they want to be hugged first.
Probably, yeah. Sam would like you to make sure you ask.
Well, I'm not
first.
a news person.
Yes, I know, but you're
today. I'm definitely the sports guy.
It's a public service announcement about unwanted hugs. Period.
Yeah.
And then today is Carrot Day, not Carrot Day we were talking about on Friday. Today is actual Carrot Day, when the carrot is celebrated through carrot parties and other carrot-related festivities.
You going to any carrot parties?
No, I am not. I don't even really like. There's one carrot cake that I like, and I'm trying to remember who makes carrot cake, but I don't. There's one carrot cake that I like, but
I like regular carrots, like good old.
I like carrots. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Cooked carrots.
Of carrots.
Could take them or leave them.
I don't want cooked carrots by themselves. I'm okay with cooked carrots in a medley.
So like in a stew?
I'll go with carrots. I'll go with carrots and broccoli, or I'll go with carrots and broccoli and cauliflower. I don't want just the cooked carrots. It needs to be part of
now, what about
part
sweet,
of the
sweet
blend.
Carrots?
I didn't
like
know there.
Thanksgiving?
I didn't know there was a difference. Oh, candied carrots, like where they put pecans and stuff. No, no,
you're out.
Nope. Just give me carrots. I'll take the carrots. I don't need you to sweet them up. I don't need them to be candied. I don't need them. Just carrots will be just fine. I feel like I'm being broad enough by saying cooked or raw. Like that's what I feel like my choice should be. I want all that nonsense on?
I prefer raw carrots to cooked carrots, but I prefer cooked broccoli to raw broccoli.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Hey, the National Park Service. Do you know any park rangers? Have you ever met park rangers from the National Park Service? We got Mammoth Cave nearby, and so
I've been to Mammoth Cave once, so I guess I did meet one, our tour guide, or something.
The other national parks. So one of the more recent park rangers that I was around shows you how long it's been. Right before the pandemic, I got to tour the White House, and that's run by the National Park System. The tours are run by the NPS. And so they do the rangers are guides, and so they talk to you about the process. And
Donald Trump didn't give you your tour?
He did not. He was under the weather that day. Oh. But I think if you watch the park rangers that go to work at Yosemite or some of the other more infamous National Park System locations, the plum assignments, if you will. Those people, and even the ones that work at Great Smoky Mountain National Park, that they consider it a calling. It is not. When you choose to be a park ranger, you're not doing it for a job. You're doing it because it's a calling and something that you love. And case in point, the oldest active ranger has retired at age 100 in California. The NPS said Betty Reed Soskin, who served as a ranger at Rosie the Riveter, World War II Homefront National Historical Park in Richmond for more than a decade and a half, officially retired at the close of her last day on the job on Thursday. She marked her 100th birthday in September. She took a temporary position working with the NPS at age 84 and became a permanent employee in 2011, making her the oldest active National Parks Ranger in the United States.
I hope I can look that good when I'm 100.
Yep.
I mean, I would have never guessed that she was 100 years old.
Nope. So that's phenomenal. Wonderful to hear. Now, the opposite of national parks would be theme parks. I read a headline this morning that The Beast, the world's longest roller coaster.
Wooden roller coaster.
World's longest wooden roller coaster is getting longer. Sam, you grew up in an area with close proximity to, it's technically in Mason, that where Kings Island is.
My older brother grew up in Mason.
He did. I always think of, I think of Kings Island like, oh, that's in Cincinnati. Well, but when you get there, it's out at Mason. Have you been on the Beast?
Yes.
A lot?
I mean, I've probably ridden it half a dozen times.
How many times have you been to Kings Island?
Oh, gosh.
So not just a half a dozen.
Probably did 10 times maybe.
So, okay. So 10 to 12 times you've ridden it about half the time?
I'm not a huge hype guy. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. I like my 2 feet on the ground.
Would you believe I don't think I've been to Kings Island since 1982?
With Brady Bunch with them? Because they were there that time?
I think it was 82. Was the big baseball strike in 82?
Well, there was 94 is the one I'm thinking
No,
of.
the big one, though. The lockout,
Well, there was also 2022 strike.
No, it's not, yeah. So
it's probably,
I'll get a text in a few minutes that's confirming. But so it was that year that we went up through New England, Cooperstown, and came back through. And I think we had considered going to
81.
81.
That's right.
81. So I couldn't remember whether I was 10 or 11. But so I was 10 at the time. And we thought maybe about going there. We went to Martha's Vineyard and places like that, things that the kids weren't all that interested in. But the payoff at the end was, if you're good, maybe we'll go to Cedar Point or we'll go to. And so we ended up going to Kings Island, and that's when I got my infamous bat T-shirt.
Okay.
You know, that had the wings on it, the 3/4 length.
Okay, yep.
Baseball
Now I remember
jersey,
this,
and then you got
story.
the wings under there. So that's when I got it. Was that summer, and I don't think that I've been to Kings Island since.
It's been a while since I've been, but yeah, it's probably been 5 or 6 years since I've been.
So the Beast had a length of 7,359 feet. But when it opens in May, riders will enjoy 2 extra feet. Now I feel duped.
They got you. It is longer.
It is.
It's something, what, at the top of the first hill? Isn't that it? Like they had to fix some, like
some
it warped wood or something?
Reprofiling, yeah. And then smoothed out some of the surfaces. But so how long will it take to cover the new track? 4 minutes, 10 seconds,
Yeah,
which is a long time on a roller coaster.
And you got to make sure you ride it at night.
You do?
Uh-huh.
You have to decide.
That's like one of the, that's how you become a true Kings Islandian, I guess. Is that the proper term?
A what?
Kings Islandian?
An Islandian.
Islandian, yes.
Would that be more accurate? An Islandian?
But that's how you become a true theme park person, is you got to ride the Beast at night.
I'm just a little surprised that I've not been to Kings Island since then. I don't know why.
It's not that far.
No, I know. That's kind of the point. Is
3 hours? 3 hours, 15 minutes from here.
Busy as an adult. I'm busy doing other things.
And you can even go on the other side of the interstate and go watch the tennis tournament. Is right there that they have every year. The Western and Southern Open there.
Really?
Yeah. Venus
that's out
and
at
Serena.
Mason?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Huh, interesting. Well, I guess I'm just too busy doing. I do think about 10-year-old me running around Kings Island with my new bat shirt that I don't think I rode, by the way. I don't think I rode the bat. I think I got the shirt.
It's now Snoopy themed, the kids area, so it's all Peanuts. But when I was growing up, it was Nickelodeon themed. So you had all the SpongeBob themed and all of that.
Really? All right.
Yeah, Paramount.
Interesting. I did read, just in case you're a cereal aficionado, in case you're like Jerry Seinfeld and love cereal, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes Strawberry Milkshake and Cinnamon French Toast flavors are coming in May. So if that's your cup of tea, here are the new flavors. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes Strawberry Milkshake, Frosted Flakes Cinnamon French Toast, and Frosted Flakes Chocolate.
The French toast one doesn't sound too bad.
All be on your shelves. I'm sure I will never find out.
Yeah, I don't know that I really want to try strawberry milkshake.
If I have cereal, it's Cheerios. Sam, what is the most famous college basketball shot in the NCAA tournament?
What I think?
Or yes, I'm asking you what you think you think should be the most famous.
Chris Jenkins, Villanova, to win the national championship. Although some people would say later. Chris Jenkins, it won the national championship.
Would it be fair to say, though, that the Leitner shot is more famous because it happened 30 years ago, so it's had 30 years of lore for people to talk about?
But Chris Jenkins won the national championship. I mean, how often does that happen? That you win a national championship on not only just a buzzer beater, but it was like a 35-footer from the right wing.
Well, I guess to answer your question directly,
I don't remember where I was for the Leitner shot. I remember where I was for...
Oh, I remember exactly where I was for the Leitner shot.
Well, I wasn't born yet, so... I remember exactly where I was for Chris Jenkins. I was sitting at the second floor at Western.
Okay, but to answer your question, you said, how often does it happen? Well, it can only happen at most twice a year.
Oh, the women's and the...
Yeah, the women get a shot in college basketball. Then do you factor in the NIT? I think not. I think we're going to the NCAA tournament.
That's not March Madness.
Men's, women, and so then multiply that by the number of years. So that's the maximum it even can happen. But how often does it happen? Well, I'll just take you through.
In this area, too, you got to mention Ty Rogers.
Okay. College of Charleston, researchers there have ranked the greatest shots using mathematics to measure each memorable moment's importance.
Okay.
At 10, Tremont Waters, LSU versus Maryland in 2019. Doesn't ring a bell.
Doesn't, no.
At number 9, Trey Burke, Michigan versus Kansas, 2013.
I remember that one.
Number 8, Jordan Poole, Michigan versus Houston in 2018.
Yep.
Number 7 is Paul Jesperson, Northern Iowa versus Texas in 2016.
Yep.
At number 6, Mamadi Diakite.
Diakate. No, that's Virginia.
Virginia versus Purdue 3 years ago.
Crazy play.
2019.
Yeah.
At number 6, Chris Chiozza, Florida versus Wisconsin in 2017. From 1982 at number 4, Michael Jordan, North Carolina versus Georgetown.
Who? Michael Jordan?
The Michael Jordan.
Never heard of him.
At number 3, Christian Laettner, Duke versus Kentucky
I don't remember
from
that.
1992. At number 2, Jalen Suggs, Gonzaga versus UCLA last year.
Forgot about that one. Yeah.
So just a year ago, they say is the second greatest shot, not most famous. They said greatest, using math and the position on the floor, likelihood, the dynamics. And at number 1, Chris Jenkins, Villanova versus North Carolina in 2016 as the greatest shot in NCAA tournament
You
history.
mentioned number 9 on that list,
Yep.
which was Michigan in 2013, correct?
Yes, Michigan, Kansas.
The fun fact about Michigan in 2013?
No.
They're one of the only schools to lose a national championship to no one.
Because what?
Because in 2013, nobody won the national championship. Vacated one.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah.
Because
that was the year.
Louisville technically won it, but if you ask the record books, they did not.
People saw Louisville win it, but it evaporated.
If I ask Siri, she's going to say no.
Into the ether. We got to get to a break. We'll come back and still say Laettner's more famous. Got to get to a break. You're on In the Know.
Your choice of lifestyle directly affects your health. And while there are many complex factors surrounding your lifestyle, sometimes the simple truth is that you just need to feel better. Well, rest assured, your feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. We take our time to get to know you and your lifestyle so we can provide sound advice on ways to improve your overall health. So whether your goal is to maintain a healthy lifestyle or overcome that untimely sickness, remember, your feel better starts here at Midway Pharmacy.
All Kentucky driver licensing is moving from circuit clerk offices in every county
to regional offices.
And the new regional offices offer more licensing choices than ever before.
Get a driver's license valid for 4 years.
Or 8 years. Get a real ID.
Or a standard license.
Renew online
or in person.
You can even visit any regional office you'd like.
It's next level licensing. Learn more at drive.ky.gov.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
While we may disagree a lot, we do agree Rural King's our favorite place for spring planting.
Yeah, but we've got to focus. Roses, a couple flats of impatiens, and a spade.
A shovel? I'm thinking tiller.
We do not need a tiller.
Wait, a mower. Those no zero turns are sweet.
Focus. Roses, mulch, shovel, impatiens.
Jeez, talk about impatient.
Can I help you?
Yeah, chainsaws.
Let's go.
I'm almost done mowing this section.
Ridiculous.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. Keep the reindeer
here handy this week as we watch for some spotty showers in the forecast for today. About a chance for some rain as we head into tomorrow with an area of low pressure moving through. A cold front will bring the chance for some thunderstorms as we get into your Wednesday. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Talana Andrews.
Yeah, I love Madalena. She's long and lean. You mess with her, you see a man get mean.
Did you know the name Hotmail was chosen because it contains in order HTML?
Okay.
So HTML is the language that websites are written in, hypertext markup language. And so HTML is just a common, in the old days, in fact, all your web pages had to be .html. And then along that time, too, your original mail readers all had to be POP3. You had to have Netscape Communicator. You had to have then Outlook Express came along, and you had to have these email programs. But then Microsoft sort of came along and said, well, we want a web-based email, and we want to make that a more robust thing. And so they were looking at the language of HTML and just said, Hotmail. And so it was born. But I'd never connected those dots before.
Well, it's like Bing. You know what Bing stands for?
Bring it...
because it's not Google.
Because it's not Google. I don't know.
I think
believe
no. I think that's legitimately.
I think that's legend. I'm not saying it can't be true.
You're telling me if I Google it and it says that that's not true?
I'm saying I'm open-minded to it being fact, but I just think that somehow I'm not sure.
Back, look at that. Good old top of it. Because it's not Google.
I don't know if I
Googled
believe that entirely. Well, of course, Bing it and see what Bing says.
Okay.
That would be my thing. The Grammys were on last night, and I believe it was a slap-free zone. That does not mean that they didn't take some slaps at the slap, but music's biggest night was held last night in Las Vegas, and Silk Sonic, Leave the Door Open, record of the year, Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. Album of the year went to Jon Batiste with We Are. Jon Batiste, of course, the band leader for Stephen Colbert, has had a big year. He had 11 nominations. Some of it were from Disney's Soul, from the soundtrack there. And he performed last night, did a fine job. I didn't see it. I saw a clip of it. I didn't see it.
He's good. I mean, he's talented enough.
They did a really nice feature on him on CBS Sunday Morning yesterday. That the day that he was getting all of those nominations, when nominations were announced, was the day that his wife started chemo for her second battle with leukemia. And so they talked about this weird dichotomy between having all these professional successes on the same day that they were embarking upon something so serious personally. And so it was a very compelling story, I found it to be. Song of the year, Leave the Door Open. So Silk Sonic and the writers. Best new artist went to Olivia Rodrigo, but she also won Best Pop Vocal Album for Sour. She won Best Pop Solo Performance for Driver's License. Best Pop Duo was Doja Cat and SZA, Kiss Me More. And then Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album was Love for Sale, Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga. Also, Chris Stapleton won last night. He won, I think, Country Album of the Year for Starting Over. And he performed last night, did a fine job as well. The Grammys did pay tribute to the late drummer Taylor Hawkins after Foo Fighters made history. Also, Taylor Hawkins was memorialized in the memoriam piece, of course, but Billie Eilish was wearing a T-shirt that had Taylor Hawkins on the front of it. So, it was a big night there in Las Vegas. It had been delayed since January the 31st and then moved from LA to Las Vegas to be able to host it. I thought one of the very touching moments was the John Legend tribute to Ukraine, to the point that he had a harpist from Ukraine and then had another lady who sang vocals with him she's Ukrainian, but her sister serving in Ukrainian army. And then another lady stepped up and read, I think, some scripture. I think she did a portion of the Lord's Prayer, and she did it in Ukraine, in that language. And she had just fled Ukraine weeks ago. And before that performance began, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, appeared on screen to appeal and plea for help from around the world. So I thought it was a very moving and touching portion of the awards show last night. Questlove won a Grammy for his documentary on Summer of Soul, but I also saw from earlier in the week he had tweeted, "Can we just stop talking about it?" He's finished with the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. Will Smith resigned from the Academy, which basically was just a preemptive strike. They were going to kick him out anyway. So he said, "Oh, I resigned." But then he also went on to say, "I'll suffer whatever consequences that are there." But I saw, Questlove say, "Let's move on. Let's stop talking about it." But then Saturday Night Live had to have
those are moments they're made for.
At it. Oh, I mean, yeah, they've been chomping at the bit. In the cold open, they did do a parody of Fox and Friends, where then they invited former President Trump on. They asked him about the slap, and he started calling Will Smith Hitch. I thought Hitch did a great job, and etc.
How'd the host do? Because I didn't know who he was.
So Gerard Carmichael, it's Jerrod. I would have said Jared, and I think I did say Jared on Friday. Fabulous.
I was reading some things on social media that he was really good.
I'd never seen him before. He's 34 years of age. He has a new HBO stand-up special. And he came out, and his monologue, when stand-up comedians get a chance to do those monologues, they usually shine. That's what they're there for. But when he started, he said, first words out of his mouth, he's not welcome, not anything. He just said, "I'm not going to talk about it." So he didn't even have to refer to it. He just said, "I'm not going to talk about it." He said, "I want to be clear up top. I talked about it enough, kept talking about it, kept thinking about it. I don't want to talk about it, and you can't make me talk about it." Then he goes back and he says, "On Monday, I was talking about it all day." And so he takes us through the journey of the week. Then he says, "On Thursday, I made a promise to myself I was never going to ever talk about it again." Then Lauren knocked on my dressing room door and said, "You need to talk about it. The nation needs to heal." So then he used that a way to saying, I'm going to help the nation heal. He said, "No one knows who I am." And so it was artfully done. He's funny. The skits that he appeared in were funny. His timing is good. So well done. Well done to that young man. Gerard Carmichael is his name. He's 34. And so if you've been with us consistently, I've just kind of gone into this phase of, I have no idea who the hosts are going to be based upon name. I just see them and go, "Oh, that's who that is." So I was pleasantly surprised. It's worth going and watching. I did see where Netflix and Sony are halting Will Smith projects. So you've got two choices here. While Netflix and Sony are backing away, if you own Will Smith content, I've noticed the last week they're leaning in. I've seen more notices that, "Hey, we've got King Richard over here if you want to watch it," or "Watch Bel Air on Peacock." They've been deliberately, if they've already paid for the content, they're trying to lean in and go, "We've got it." If you haven't yet paid for the content and it's not out there, I think people like Netflix and Sony are going, "We need to let this die down a little bit before we run this out there." So
I can't imagine this being that much of a career ender for him.
Two schools of thought. No, I think he's probably okay. Jim Carrey said he's probably retiring. Okay. Again, I go back to there's not a single role that I'm going to go, "Oh, I wish Jim Carrey had done this role." Boy, if he had just done this movie, his
to make a Dumb and Dumber 3.
His career would be complete. I mean, just leave well enough alone, I guess, in that regard. And then I was saddened to hear Estelle Harris, who played George Costanza's mom on Seinfeld, has gone on in at age
Mrs. Potato Head?
93. She was also the voice of Mrs. Potato
and
Head.
Then growing up in my era, she was Muriel the maid on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, so, she was in the Pinocchio Shop, Tarzan 2, but she was,
I saw the clip of her in the hospital bed with George.
Yeah, she's just, what a great character. Those supporting characters around that show were phenomenal. And then I saw C.W. McCall, who had a big hit with Convoy, also went in at age 93 as well. So gone but not forgotten. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. Hang around here on In the Know.
A key indicator that humans are unique from animals is that we tell stories. Humans have told each other stories since ancient times, sharing over campfires, over phones, even over cubicle walls. We tell each other stories through music, movies, and books. The book Call of the Wild stirs up our hunger for adventure. To Kill a Mockingbird speaks to us about race and inequality. The movie Sleepless in Seattle ignites our desire for intimacy and love. We follow characters from point A to point B and get pulled into the drama of their lives. We laugh with them, we cry, we debate the morality of their choices. We identify with their joy and with their sorrow. Animals don't do any of that. They exist in community, but their goal is survival, not self-discovery. From birds in a nest to a herd of elephants, animals don't contemplate the mysteries of their species or ponder transcendent questions about who they are and where they come from. Only humans seek more out of life than food and shelter. The stories we tell communicate ideas more profound than the location of the nearest watering hole. They reveal our desire for meaning, for connection, and for purpose. Stories connect us with each other in a way that transcends mere animal instinct. The next time you're with friends telling stories, recognize that those exchanges reveal that you're more than an intelligent animal. You're human. For more to help you thrive, go to FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
The credit card debt happened when my daughter was born. I was using one credit card account to roll over into another credit card account, and it was snowballing.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
When I first called Trinity, the representative understood the need based on the situation. They were great people to work with. From the first phone call that I made, they had me on a track to mitigate the credit card debt.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
Working with Trinity gave me the ability to save thousands of dollars. My name's Doug, and thanks to Trinity, I'm debt-free for keeps.
Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
All Kentucky driver licensing is moving from circuit clerk offices in every county
to regional offices.
And the new regional offices offer more licensing choices than ever before.
Get a driver's license valid for 4 years.
Or 8 years. Get a real ID.
Or a standard license.
Renew online
or in person.
You can even visit any regional office you'd like.
It's next level licensing. Learn more at drive.ky.gov.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a trillion times. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
MB's point to ponder for today. Okay, who wins tonight? So, I had vowed so long as Duke lost and the Coach K Love Fest came to an end on Saturday, I didn't care who won. And I guess I really don't care, but I'm wondering, what I'm pondering this morning is, should I care? So here's the dilemma. I'm not overly comfortable about handing North Carolina their 7th national championship when we're only at 8. So that's bringing them within 1. And if the season they've had is an indicator, looks like maybe they got things going. So we could be battling them for their 8th to tie us next year, or our 9th, etc. So would I like to keep a little space? Or if we give it to Kansas, then Kansas is just adding an additional game on the distance they've established between them and us on all-time winningest program over the last 3 weeks. So I don't know which one of those to choose.
Well, I'm just going to pick who I think is going to win the game. Kansas.
Really? I have a hard time picking against Carolina after what I saw them do on Saturday.
I just think in a game that might be a toss-up, you go with a team that has the best player. And I think Abaji for Kansas. And plus, someone in the building did pick Kansas to win and was ridiculed by some.
Carolina played well even when Baycott went out. When he got injured there for a few minutes.
And listen, it would not shock me if Carolina wins. It would not shock me I heard the example, and I think it was really accurate, that Carolina is kind of like 2014 Kentucky. All year it was like, man, they're just not figuring it out, and then they get hot at the right time and ride all the way into the national championship game, and the magic runs out.
Do you think putting an end to the Coach K love fest took a lot out of them?
And that might be one thing.
It was the late game,
that was an emotional win for them. I'm not sure Chapel Hill has stopped partying.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I mean, listen, if North Carolina comes out and wins tonight by 10 points, I won't be surprised whatsoever. But I think Kansas and Bill Self are going to win.
Here's the other thing I want to tell you. That win, Kentucky's win over North Carolina, was also a little bit of fool's gold because they weren't supposed to play.
No.
When those parts got moved around, remember, Kentucky was supposed to play Ohio State, wasn't it, in the Champions Classic out there, or UCLA?
Something like
and
that.
they got COVIDed. Somebody got COVID canceled. And so they scrambled. Like, there are people that we know that were on an airplane headed for Las Vegas for that game and found out midway there the game had been seemingly first canceled.
Well, we know a radio show that was driving to Las Vegas.
That's true.
Spent a week taking their trip there.
So I just I don't think, given the chance for Carolina to prepare for Kentucky with the proper amount of preparation time, et cetera, but then the same can be said for Kentucky. Mm-hmm. They had the same amount of time to prepare for Carolina. So I am just I'm going to go with Carolina. I think I'd rather them have their 7th. There's something I'm not sure. I'm very conflicted. Should I just go with Charles Barkley? Barkley says Kansas for sure. Matter of fact, Charles guaranteed it.
Well, then that might change the good old pick.
You go in a different direction then.
Yeah, might have to.
Torrible.
He's funny though. I think he's really good.
Funny.
He's one of those. I think he kind of plays. In a way, he kind of plays the Ryan Lemon role that you hear on Kentucky Sports Radio, where he's kind of like, in a way, like the village idiot, but yet he's actually really intelligent.
They've always got him wearing the dunce cap, but that's an act. Yeah. Today's highlight. Now, Shaq arguing about the gas fill-up with Kenny Smith.
Hilarious.
Shaq is not wearing the dunce cap. I think Shaq really believed his argument until he realized how preposterous it was. But he was so committed to his point, he wouldn't give it up.
And I love Shaq on that show. Anytime Charles Barkley says anything, he just says, "How many rings you got, Chuck? How many rings you got?"
Yeah. Today's highlight in history, this day in 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. In 1841, President William Henry Harrison succumbed to pneumonia a month after his inauguration. That was in 1841. The U.S. Senate voted 82-6 in favor of declaring war against Germany, this day in 1917. The Twin Towers of New York's World Trade Center were officially dedicated this date in 1973. This date in 1974, Hank Aaron tied Babe Ruth's home run record by hitting his 714th round tripper. Sam, do you know where he tied Babe Ruth's record?
Cincinnati.
He did.
You want to know the interesting fact on that?
Of course. I thought that was the interesting fact.
That was Marty Brennaman's first game.
Was it on opening day in 74?
Yeah, it was Marty. So Marty Brennaman came into the league calling one of the biggest moments.
Interesting. Tied it up. 1983, the Space Shuttle Challenger roared into orbit on its maiden voyage. Of course, lost the Challenger 3 years later. Clive Davis is 90 today. Craig T. Nelson is 78. Christine Lottie is 72. Robert Downey Jr. is 57. David Blaine is 49. Jamie Lynn Spears is 31. Gone but not forgotten, Arthur Murray in 1895. Muddy Waters in 1915. Are you a big Muddy Waters fan?
Sure.
Maya Angelou, born in 1928. Bart Giamatti, born in 1938.
Yeah, I don't know about Bart Giamatti. We can probably forget about him.
I like his son, Paul. Does that count?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he wasn't a great baseball commissioner, but he was...
pretty sure. Wasn't Bart Giamatti the one who banned Pete Rose?
Mm-hmm. He sure was.
That's what I thought.
Chart toppers. This date, 1961. Jorgen Ingemann and Apache.
It's a good, not necessarily that version, but that's a good pep band song.
You hear that melody
Jump
everywhere.
On It is what it's known as.
Yeah, it's, Sugar Hill Gang did it, and then it's in Guardian commercials or Jardian or whatever. 1970, The Beatles, number one with Let It Be.
Good song.
Words of wisdom,
Let It Be.
You could just play that for the rest of the show. And
I could. Well, the rest of the show's almost gone. The Doobie Brothers, What a Fool Believes, number one in 79.
as she rises to her apology.
Anybody else would surely know.
Doobie Brothers are one of those bands that I never think of that I like, but
when you hear them, China Grove is a great song.
Listen to the music.
Overlap. Yeah, it's good. Blackwater's good. Billy Ocean, Get Out of My Dreams, number
Dennis's
one
intro song.
88. Oh, yeah.
Got some good chart toppers here.
Let's go to, 1997, Jewel, You Were Meant For Me was number one. Then in 06, Natasha Bedingfield, number one with Unwritten. And 7 years ago today already, Ed Sheeran was number one with Thinking Out Loud. So there are your chart toppers for today. MB's Prolo Wisdom says this: despite what the forecast may tell you, live like it's spring. Despite what the forecast may tell you, live like it's spring. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know. I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes, it's on